Who is now it's fine.
Yes, sir.
Okay. One second, I will call you back. Wait for 2 minutes. So building bylaws, can anybody say the building bylaws? Anybody heard anything about building bylaws? Any building bylaw? Any idea? Because building bylaws, I discussed last class. I discussed the importance of building bylaws because if you are doing one building plan for particular area, for example, any municipal corporation or any village area, anywhere, that particular town planning department has the rules and regulations about that building actually. If you are not satisfying that particular rules and regulations, of course you know that your plan will not get approval actually. So that's why you have to follow the rules and regulations. Whether suppose that nearby town, what are the town planning rules and regulations are there. So it may be vary from locality depending on that locality, location and area. It may vary actually. Okay. So that is the thing we are discussing today now. But one thing I want to say you, I am giving one general building bylaws only because building bylaws I told you for location wise it changes actually. For example, I will tell you one building height only because whatever the building height restricted for Mumbai Corporation is entirely different for Chennai Corporation. I hope you understand. So whatever that bylaws may vary depending on that location and depending on the regions or all because the basic things will be same actually. So here we are discussing about the basic things only. Okay. So I will give some technicality in between the building bylaws and remaining things because it gives an idea to you actually. Because in this course you are studying the things only. Why I am telling these things? Suppose in future if you draw something, you have to check the building boilers for that particular area. Whether it is Chennai, Mumbai, whether it is Delhi. So every municipality or corporation or village, they have what to say, their own building bylaws. Okay, that you have to follow. So here, first I want to say, I will show the PPT. Here I am taking from the book only the things, that 8 things. I hope it is visible or not. Is it visible? Yeah. Is it visible or not?
Yes, sir, visible.
So you don't. I'm just taking that book, that text only. That some things. I will explain the things actually. There are 8 things are there. That first thing is that building regulations that I already discussed. Whatever the buildings there, that revenue authorities of rural area. Otherwise, you can say town planning department or municipal corporation of cities have prepared some certain building regulations and bylaws actually. So these regulations ensure proper living standards, good hygienic conditions for the people. So that's why what to say, the respective town planning department or municipal corporation is saying, that you have to follow. It depends on the locality. So that is the first thing. And second is somebody, please unmute all mics. Okay. Okay. And second is the thing is that building plans conforming to these laws are permitted to start the construction. Suppose if you are not getting this approval from that concerned authority, as I told you, the work is not allowed. That's why the knowledge of these regulations actually, a planner, building planner should know about these regulations. So first regulation based on the building line actually. So you know about building line actually. What is the meaning of building line? Building line means a friend line actually. Friend line. It is a friend line up to which a building is allowed to extend as compared to the road there. Here I will show you one example. Yeah, can you see this building? This figure 2.13. I hope it is visible for you. Here, suppose this is one building. You can see this is one building. Here, you can see this line, that front line of the building. That is called a building line actually. Okay, that front, that common name you can tell it as setback distance actually. For residential building, you can that setback distance known as building line. For industrial building, that setback no, not setback distance, that control line what I discussed. A setback line only. For industrial building, that setback line is known as control line. I hope you understand. It is nothing but it is a front line of the building. That front line you are drawing that building, that is called setback line actually. Setback line may be building line. For residential building, the name is building line. For industrial building, the name is control line. It is parallel to the road or that street actually. Here road is going on, your building is coming, this is your building line. For industry, this is your control line. So that is setback line. Setback line means it is a front line up to which building is allowed to extend as compared to the road surface. So building line means in case of residential building, setback line is termed as building line. In case of industrial building, setback line is called as control line. So that is first thing about building lines. So you have to define these building lines. Whatever the buildings there, it is a residential building, industrial building, or commercial building. First, you have to prepare that building line actually. Okay. And second is bylaws regarding height of building. I already discussed you last class. There are what to say. There are some restrictions in height. It depends on because depending on that particular locality, that geography of that particular area, and their soil conditions. So depending on that, what is happening that height of that particular building is restricted. So normally the limits of the heights are given here, but I am telling one thing to you. It may vary. It's not that actual one. I already told you it may vary. It's not the actual one, but you should know that normally how they provide is depending on the width of street. You can see in this figure. Uh, this is one building. I hope it's visible for you. One building is here. This is the front line of the building. This is the section of the building. Here, this is the front line of the building, you can say. This is called a rear boundary of the building. This is the boundary. Here, I hope my cursor is moving, you can see, I think. This is the boundary of the building. And this is the street. This is the front street. And no, this is, I think, rear side, I think. Okay, this is the rear side. This is the front side. This is front boundary. This is the back boundary. Otherwise, you can say rear boundary. So here you see the building line will be here. This is your building line, that front line. Okay, the front line of the building is called a building line. For a residential building, it is building line. For industrial building, it is control line. This is street. Street maybe it is road only. So depending on the width of street, you can define the maximum height of building. For example, up to 8 meter width, normally you will provide height 1.5 into road width. For 8 into 12 meter width of street, you will provide a maximum height of 12 meter. Over 12 meter road width maximum up to 21 meter. So these are the normal things. Normally we will provide a height of building. But I already discussed, it is commonly we are saying that, but depending on that area, region, the rules and regulations for that particular town planning department and corporation, it may vary. Okay. And second is that back or rear boundary should be minimum 3 meter away from the rear wall. I already told this is your rear wall. You can see here. So this back boundary should be minimum 3 meter, 3 meter from the rear wall actually. So that is the one thing you should know that. Minimum you have to provide 3 meter distance for an open space actually normally. Okay, for back side distance you have to provide. Then one more thing, in order to check the height, what you are doing is, this is, you can see here, this is the rear boundary. So from the rear boundary with the horizontal, if you draw one angle 63.5 degree, it should not obstruct the height of the building, because this angle at 63.5 should not go through that height of the building. It should be away from the height of the building. That also you have to check while in order to check that height of the building actually. So these are the some building bylaws for height, but I already told you, because it may vary, because various places it may vary depending on the rules and regulations, because some municipalities or town planning department may give some relaxations actually. But normally you have to provide this much space actually. From that back side 3 meter, and front side also you have to provide some space actually. Then building height based on the width of street. That is first. That is the rules related to building. Then second is bylaws regarding open space requirement. Open space I already discussed in building planning principle. Normally around the building you have to provide some open space for proper lighting and proper ventilation, etc. So here also you can see here minimum open space requirement around the building you can determine using the height of the building actually, because various height of the building you can define that open space throughout meters you can, for example, 5 height building, what is the width of open space you have to provide around the building? It's nearly 3 meter. For 6 meter it is 3 meter. When the height increases, the open space you have to provide should increase actually. Okay, so that is one regulation behind open space. Another is built-up area. Built-up area is another concern in building rules and regulations. Before that, you should know what is the difference between built-up area, plot area, and carpet area. So that you should know first. What is the meaning of plot area? Anybody know? Plot area. What is the meaning of plot area? Plot area. Plot area. Any idea? Hmm? In the figure, if you look into the figure, plot area means the overall area of the land purchased. Plot area, simply you can say the total area purchased for the proposed building plan. The total area of the land, that is known as plot area. What do you mean by built-up area? Built-up area means it is the area of the construction of building including wall thickness. Here that hatched lines represent wall actually. So it includes that including wall thickness, what is the total area of construction of building, that is called a built-up area. Otherwise you can say it is the sum of all the construction areas. It is sum of the construction areas of all floors of the building. So that is your built-up area. Carpet area. What is the meaning of carpet area? Carpet area, the only difference is you are minusing, you are subtracting the wall thickness area. It is the area of construction excluding wall thickness. That is, you can see here inside area. This is carpet area. So here built-up area regulation for different types of building, the maximum permissible built-up area in percentage, it is given like this. Because for example, residential area, plot less than 200 meters square, normally we will provide a maximum permissible built-up area 60% of the total plot area. In case of 200 to 500 meters square, we provide 50 meters square. Like that, it will go like this. So this is about built-up area. What is the in total plot area? What percentage? What is the maximum permissible built-up area you have to provide? So this is another rule regulations related to built-up area. Here also some variations will come depending on the locations. Okay. Here also some town planning or concerned authority will give some relaxation. It may vary. So that's why I'm telling you, don't take this as a reference. It's just to give an idea. Whatever the things will come under your building bylaws. It may vary. Okay, the values may vary. And next is bylaws regarding floor space index. Floor space index means it is a ratio of total built-up area to the plot area. So here the rule is, I hope you understand, the floor space index means it is a ratio between total built-up area to the plot area. So here normally FSA values under normally for residential building it should be 2. For shopping it should be 2, and actually what they are preferring is for, actually these values are varying actually. Varying means various, for example, whatever the some municipalities they prefer 2, some municipalities 1.5, it depends actually. So this also varying actually, but generally we will provide in between 1 to 2 3 actually, that FSA value. Okay. So the calculation, one example is given here. If you see, for example, plot area is 400 and you are constructing ground floor and 200 and first floor of 125, your total FSA should be, because you have to include all floor areas actually. Total built-up area means it will include ground floor, first floor, second floor, like that. So here you can see that FSI is 0.8125 actually. Okay, so in that way you can calculate FSI, but FSI that range may vary actually, because I already told, but as a planner, building planner, you have to check what is the permissible limit for FSI for that particular area. Suppose if they are telling up to maximum 1.5 or 2, it's fine. Otherwise, you have to make that your plan dimensions accordingly. Okay, so that is another thing. Another is bylaws regarding setback distance. Setback distance means it is the, you can see in the figure, the minimum distance from the center line of the road. This is my road is going on. This is my building line is there. So the distance between center line of the road to the building line is called a setback distance. In case of industrial building, the center line, okay, distance from the center line of the road to the control line is called setback distance. Okay, so this is also very much important nowadays. You know that government is telling some distance from the road. Whatever your construction should be, minimum this much distance away from the road. For example, national highways, for residential building, that minimum setback distance is 30. For industrial building, it should be away 45. Institutional building also, that setback distance is very much more. Residential building, it is not much, but in industrial or commercial, not commercial, industrial educational buildings, it should be little more higher compared to residential. So major district roads, it's 15 meter, and other district roads now 9 meter, and village roads it's 9 meter. So these values also may vary. These values also may vary, as I discussed earlier, depending on the town planning rules and regulations. Then another is bylaws regarding ventilation accommodation requirements. That is the these are some minimum accommodation requirement. That what is they are discussing is what is the area of different rooms actually. We discussed room height. Minimum room height they are requiring is 2.75 meter. Then window area. Window area I already discussed 10% of the room area. Okay, 1 by 10 we discussed earlier. Otherwise, the door area 1 by 7. The total ventilation area 0.1 meter square for 10 meter cube of room space. Then minimum room width is 2.4 meter. That is a minimum. 2 meter room width is not allowed. Minimum 2.4 is necessary. So room area, minimum room area should be 9.5 meter. Are you understanding? These things we should, these are minimum requirement. Whatever the plans you are considering, your plan, your room size should not be less than this area. That also you have to consider. Habitable room area. For bathroom, the size should be very less. So it's 4 meter square, 5 meter square, it's not a deal. Habitat, that the person living inside the room, that room area should be minimum. Minimum requirement is 9.5 meters. So these are some requirements, and then sanitization requirement is there. Sanitization requirement also it may vary. Normally, for single room, one sink area is there. Then residential building for 5 single rooms and 3 double rooms. So one WC, one closed bath, one urinal, one washing place of 2.4 meters. So these are some requirements like that. In similar way, for industrial building also, for one person, 5 meters square floor area is required. For every 25 persons, one WC, and for 100 persons, one urinal. So, if whether it is male or female, one WC, one urinal. These are some sanitation requirement. If see, why I am telling all the things, the town planning department says clearly that minimum requirement. Not only for sanitation, for accommodation requirement they are telling, sanitation requirement telling, spacing, open space requirement they are telling, setback distance they are telling, then height, are telling. These all you have to consider when you go for this planning. I hope you understand. Okay. So these are some of the building bylaws. I hope you understand. Uh, why I discussed this, you should aware about this actually. The values may vary depending on the locality, depending on the town planning, or the corporation, municipality, villages, their rules varies. But basically you have to check all those things. That minimum requirement you have to check it out. Whether your plan is fulfilling the minimum requirement set by the concerned authority. I hope you understand. Anybody have any doubt, anything you can ask me. Anybody have anything you can ask me.
Sir, what is the use of setback line?
Who asked? I am not getting your question. What is the
Use of setback line, sir.
You are asking about setback distance, sir, or setback line? One second, I will see. Use of setback lines. Use of setback line, I already told that it is very important to determine the setback distance actually. Setback line means it's a building line. So because you see, why we are providing setback distance like this? For example, urban growth is happening, development is happening. Now your national highway, they are providing 2 lanes or 4 lanes. In future, it may come 6 lanes or 8 lanes. So for that only you have to give some distance actually. Because when that development will happen, road width will increase. So that time that road authority should not get suffer. That's why you have to keep minimum distance. And then one more thing is that parking facility. In order to make that parking facilities of vehicles and everything get more comfort and everything. So that are two more things we are concerning about setback distance actually. Okay. Initially, you know that all the buildings are very near to close to road actually. It's very uncomfort actually. It's very difficult for future road development and everything. It's very difficult and no space for parking. You know that all the cities, everything very congested. So how that growth will happen? It's very difficult to do further future planning. For future planning only we are doing these kind of things actually. I hope you understood.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? Anything else? Any other questions you can ask me?
The reference books.
Reference book is given in your syllabus. There are 2-3 books are there. Hmm. Have you seen your syllabus or not? Hmm? 3-4 books are there. If you buy one book, it would be good. I will prefer one book. One book, I forgot the name of the author. I will tell that book name. That book name is Building Planning and Drawing. Basics of Building Planning and Drawing, something like that. Written by, I forgot the name of that author. That book is very good. That you can follow. Then your syllabus also, that 2-3 books they are mentioning, that book also very good only. Because that is not much price, I think 300 rupees only. You can buy also, no problem. Because it will give some details about that dimension, scaling and everything. It will easy for you. I hope it's fine. Anything else? So I am telling you people, please go some tutorials. It will be better for you get the things very easier. Okay, because next class onwards we will give some ideas that we have to give something about the scaling and everything, and different drawing, how you do that plan section elevation, the basic informations, and accordingly you have to start actually. Because initially what you have to do is I hope one drawing book, you know the drawing book, one large size book is there. I think you've seen or not. It's drawing book. You know that it's little bigger that A4 sheet paper. Each page size is. So that kind of book is very good for you to draw the things actually. After drawing, you can whatever the drawing you done in the drawing book, you can done in your AutoCAD software. Accordingly, you can practice actually. Okay, that we can do in next class. Let's see. So anything else? Otherwise, we can wind up this session. I don't want to take more today. It's 2 hour continuous class is too much.
Thank you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
Getting over class,
Thank you,
happy. You are all waiting for winding up the class, I feel.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Sir,
Yeah, tell me.
AutoCAD software needs
needs
graphics and nothing else.
AutoCAD software need?
Graphics in
Graphics in
laptop
laptop
is necessary or not?
No, who said? You see that CAD software is it's a basic software only. Graphic card mainly for games and everything. For softwares doesn't matter. Any graphic card normally inbuilt. Normally, if you prefer, graphic card is different for heavy design and everything. I don't know. It's graphic card. If you prefer in future, it will be beneficial for you. But for normal softwares, graphic card is not enough. It's not necessary. But if you prefer, it will be better. But software scale, you need better RAM and everything should be better. That's all. Graphic card actually, if you are going for gaming software and everything, it will be more useful. Okay, AutoCAD is a basic software only. But anyway, you can prefer some, no problem. Basic requirements should be necessary. That is the main thing. But for future concern, if you consider graphic card, it will be useful. Because you are using your laptop for 3-5 years, not only for AutoCAD, you are using for many multi-purpose there. That time you can consider graphic card. Okay. Okay, anything else? Otherwise, I will take your attendance. 1 second. Shall we wind up? Otherwise, we can wind up this session.
Sir, can you share the
Yes,
PPT?
yes, sir.
What?
PPT, sir.
I will upload in MS Teams. Okay. Yeah. That I will upload. Okay. Okay. Thank you. Thank you so much. See you next class.
Thank you.
Okay. Fine.
Sir.